All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 130 KBMOD podcast. It is March 2nd, 2014. And we were absent last week. We apologize.
I don't.
Blad doesn't. He doesn't
I
give a
wasn't
shit.
here. It's not my fault.
I was ready to go. Bought a new webcam for that.
Sounds like there was only one person at fault. Who was it? Who gets fired?
No, there were two.
Benton.
There were
There
two.
were two.
There were two.
Two prominent figures.
Yes. I was severely sick, and then I received a message from one Fentaloni El Scotto, and they were like,
Guess
"Oh,
who
we
isn't
can't be
also
on this
here again because of what?
Let
An
me
Oscar
say this.
Party?
Yeah.
Oh, the event of the century.
Scott,
Everybody come to Scott and Nick's fucking Oscar party instead of the KB podcast.
the best
What a
was
bunch
how
of
Nick Fenton
jokesters.
phrased it. He was like, "Fuck, man, I guess the Oscars are a big deal out here or something. I gotta go to this fucking party." That was literally how he phrased it to me. I was like, "All
I
right."
didn't want to care about the Oscars, but fuck. Apparently it's a big deal.
How many fucking movie award shows are there? There's the Grammys, the Oscars, the Emmys,
Golden Globes.
KBMOD Game of the Year awards.
All of them have parties too.
Yeah.
There's actually not going to be an award show podcast next year because we're all going to be at the party for the show that's not happening because we're at the party.
Yeah, awards will not even be handed out.
We're all just going to get really drunk and forget to do it.
Didn't even use Photoshop, you scrubs. 24,000 retweets on the tweet. Thank you. Thank you for that.
It's amazing that he screenshotted it at such an even number.
Yeah, I know.
too.
4,000 too. 4,000 favorites, which is... Let me talk about favoriting tweets real quick. I don't understand it. I don't understand favoriting tweets.
You
Good
understand why we favorite fuck you everything though?
I do.
You-
Well,
you
I
understand that.
Yes.
I do favorites so I can go back and go to your fuck you cost me everything tweet that's in my favorites list, which is very small, and be able to unretweet it and retweet it again.
I've
Like
only...
that. That's why you keep it there. You
Yeah,
keep it
I've
in the
only-
favorites,
list.
but I don't really understand why everyone else can see your favorites. I don't understand why it's
Yeah.
a public thing because I only really use it to kind of bookmark tweets.
Can
but
you not hide
sometimes-
it?
No, I don't think so. Not unless you locked your whole account.
Yeah.
Hexadecimal style.
Did he unlock it yet?
He unlocked
No.
it.
Oh, he did unlock
Yeah,
it.
I saw tweets from him, and I'm
God,
not
he-
following him. So
He had some really good tweets, which are few and far between for Hex this past week, and I couldn't retweet any of them.
Very low signal to noise ratio on that feed.
So I couldn't do anything, but now I can go back. I should have favorited them so I could go back and retweet them. God damn it.
He says I'm using a pint glass in chat. This is a Pittsburgh Penguins glass made out of the roof of the Mellon Arena, and I'm drinking a delicious cider out of it. It's not a fucking pint glass. Don't insult me.
get the fuck out of here.
God, wow. I'm drinking wine because I'm a lady.
Ain't nothing wrong with
Very
some wine,
beautiful
man.
lady.
But, yeah, so Scott and Nick aren't here, as we've established, because they are at an Oscars party. Because I guess the Oscars are a thing that happen every year.
Next year, one of the categories we're adding is worst podcast member, and it's going to be a tie between Nick and Scott.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
We can have our own Oscars party. We just pick the winners.
yeah. I will say we have a few KBMOD things to go over before we get into who's playing what and what they've been playing. Coming up this week on all the shows, except for maybe Midnight Emulation Station, because there isn't really a fit for that. Simulator Week this week on the KBMOD.
Could do a suicide simulator and have him play Ghosts and Ghouls or whatever that is.
Ghosts and Goblins, yeah. Just
Well, I was thinking about what to play. I do know Sim Ant came out on the SNES, and
It
when I
did.
mentioned it,
Well,
Tim
you
got
just
really
picked
hyped.
what you're playing.
Yeah, I've never played it before, and it's probably terrible, but Tim was very excited. and I'd hate to
SimCity
let Tim down.
2000 is also on the SNES, amazingly.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
I
probably
didn't know
real
that was
bad,
a
and I kind of
console.
look forward to
Can you
playing
imagine controlling SimCity with a
yeah, I
controller?
thought that only came
Yeah.
on PC.
that.
No,
It's probably
well
as
then.
good as StarCraft 64,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
which was absolutely a game.
So far on the docket, I mean, people got super hype for Airport Sim last week, so I was like, you know what, we should probably have a whole week devoted to this shit. I'll get into why that game is horrible a little later on.
I mean, you could probably make a simulator year at this point.
You could.
2014 is going to be the year of simulators. We've already had like 5 come out. It's stupid.
I'm Googling sim games on SNES.
SNES is so good to emulate too. Come on, WordPress, what are you doing? All right, so I'm going to be playing Warehouse and Logistics Simulator 2014 on Monday.
It's like 2 games in one, warehouse and logistics.
Well, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. So
Perfect.
So I'll be playing that Monday. Tuesday, Chez is going to be playing some Roller Coaster Tycoon as well as Car Mechanic Sim 2014. It's a sim where you break things in people's cars and then charge them for it. That's what it is.
Exactly.
That may be a little too realistic.
Yeah. Nikon's playing Game Dev Tycoon and possibly Woodcutting Simulator or Shipbuilding Simulator. I haven't decided which to gift him yet. There were 2 simulator bundles that came out.
You gotta get the
coincidentally.
fucking sim bundles. Gotta get them. Bundle stars.
Yeah.
And Humble Bundle Weekly.
There is actually a Wikipedia article list of Super Famicom and Super Nintendo simulation games, and it's got like business simulation, like theme park and stuff, which I'm surprised was even out then. But you see like Aerobiz, theme park, top management. It goes into the city building with Sim City and stuff. God Game with Populous, and then Life Simulation, and it's all just Japanese titles that I can't pronounce because it's all just like dating sims. My favorite one is probably the fact that it's like Da Baki Show, Doya Kesi, Doya Kesi 2, Dikdatate High School, Wedding Peach. I think Wedding Peach is probably my favorite one, but I'm too terrified by
Which one's the Bukkake sim?
That's what I would like to know.
I do know there is a game.
Wedding Peach. I think that's what they actually do in Japan on
I'm
their
sure it
wedding
looked
day.
really good.
So I don't know if you guys remember Something Awful or ever frequented Something Awful, but they used to have hentai reviews on Something Awful.
Yeah.
Like they were very like tongue-in-cheek making fun of the games.
They do
obviously.
some great shit on Something Awful.
The review scale for the hentai games was -50 to life-shattering or something like that. Like it was just like like how bad they were. And there was one called Water Closet, and it got the lowest ratings of any of those games there. Half of these were actually just dating sims. By the way, they weren't actually hentai games, but they were just really, really pornographic dating sims.
I am
basically.
looking up Water Closet right now.
And it was called Water Closet, and you basically, like, if I recall, you had to, like, watch girls pee. But you had, like, a stealth meter, you know, like in Skyrim.
You had to. You didn't,
This
you
is the
didn't want to,
game.
you had
Yeah,
to.
no, this is the game. This is the whole thing. This exists. Someone wrote and coded and put graphics in this game. There you go. We're not playing Water Closet on stream.
We will probably get banned.
Nikon's playing Game Dev Tycoon. X is doing Skyscraper Sim as well as Euro Truck Sim.
I just looked up Water Closet, and there's no way you could stream that. There's absolutely no way you could stream that. I'm sorry.
I'm happy for the confirmation.
You would have to put just the entire black screen. It would just have to all be black. There's no way.
Not a single.
Not even the
pixel.
sounds. I don't even think the sounds would meet Twitch's terms.
Yeah.
You would just be shut down.
Kerbal Space Program on Thursday, as well as some other simulator
That's a
up
good
to
one.
my discretion. On Friday, I will be playing some regular games, but also the Warehouse Simulator DLC, Hell's Warehouse. This is a real thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you
So-
and
In which
like
you manage
Zombie
hell.
Studios developed that, so you can place custom orders to the warehouse via chat, which is great.
Oh my God, Gerritzen. We have a Twitter question from Gerritzen this week.
Actually, you know what I just realized would be good for me to play? There's a game I spent a lot of time playing that's technically a sim game, Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon is a sim.
Great game.
It's a sim. Fantastic game. It sounds boring because it's a game where you just run a farm, but it's actually super fun. And my favorite one out of all of them was on GBA, which emulates very cleanly. So,
Water Closet YouTube hype. Oh God. But also, it's now March, So subscribe if you want in on the March sub giveaways for this month. Our winners last month got Wolf Among Us, so who knows what we'll be giving away this month, but you have to be a subscriber to be eligible. Also, BF4 now has platoons, and we have a KBMOD platoon. I believe I have to go in there, and me and Cyberwaste right now, though I'll probably promote some other people,
I'm playing that this week.
can accept members or whatever for that. Also, the
I always
KB
accept
mod
members.
Yeah, we don't shy away from members here. We also have a KB mod clan in Diablo 3 now. I hopped on there and so did that. So
Is that game still
that's
shit?
sure.
Or
it's
No, it's a
pretty
lot better.
awesome.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Well, then let's just dive right in, because I'm
Yeah.
probably the one who played it the most this week. I don't know if anyone else did,
I
but
don't know. I don't know.
I,
A lot Thursday and Friday.
I'm level 50 now, and I started the character Friday. So it's also much faster, very much faster to level. So major changes on Diablo 3. I'll just go into them right now. Loot is so satisfying now. You constantly get loot that's upgrades. Almost all the loot you get is tuned to your class. You will get stuff for other classes, but it's rare. And obviously you could keep that and put it, in your bank towards other classes. Legendaries, unless they're off bosses, can be like completely random. So you could get like a Dex legendary on a mage, but then it's a legendary, so it's usually pretty good. But I rolled a sorceress, I believe is the name of the class on there. Everyone always calls it the mage for some reason, but
Wizard?
Yeah, wizard. Is it wizard? There you go.
Yes.
It's wizard. But there's now 6 difficulty levels, I believe. It's 5 or 6. But you can choose where you start now.
There's 5, and then the Torment has, I think, like, it has a sliding scale.
Okay. So I started playing on Master first, or no, Hard. Maybe just Hard. Hard was not very hard, so I moved it up to Master, and then I eventually moved it up to Expert. You get XP and loot drop bonuses as you slide that difficulty up. And the name of the clan, by the way, person is just KBMOD, just KBMOD. I don't know if it's totally public or if I have to invite people, but it's super addicting now, much like D2 was. Like I ended up playing till like 4 a.m. the other night.
What happens when you get items that are useful?
Yeah, there's always
that's like the single biggest difference and change for me is that I think like it feeds into everything else. The speed at which you level, like your enjoyment of the game, when you fill up your bag with loot and then you go back to the town and you actually have to like comb through all the stuff you got because half of it's upgrades.
Mhm.
That's just such a different experience than it used to be.
Yeah, and before it felt, the auction house does still exist at this point. It does shut down in March. I think it actually shuts down before Reaper of Souls comes out. I did purchase Reaper of Souls as well. I got some Crusader drops in game, which is kind of funny, as they aren't usable. You can actually choose the Crusader as your class if you've upgraded, but you can't roll with it. You can't name it or anything.
Yeah, they're in kind of a weird transition period because like you can see that some of the new skills and things are locked until level 70, but you just can't do any of that stuff yet.
Yeah. The other really big change that I like a lot is if you're a person who did play a lot way back and then stopped because the game frankly didn't have much to offer you because of the auction house. If you come back now and you had like a high Paragon level character, those Paragon levels transfer to every other character on your account now. That is split between hardcore and normal though. So if you had a Paragon hardcore character, it only applies to other hardcore characters. But you get bonuses to like offense, defense, and then like skill bonuses that you can put in. You get like talent points basically for Paragon levels now instead of increased loot drops or whatever it was before. So you can up your life, your int, your spell casting, speed, all kinds of stuff with those Paragon points. So if you have one high level character that you played a lot, that will benefit a new character. The thing that I
and
found,
it'll benefit you a bunch. If you have
Yeah.
like a high Paragon character and you have a bunch of those points to spend, you get all of those points from level 1 on a new character. So it makes a massive difference.
yeah, and I was playing with Tim, and he had a Paragon 54, and so his dude was all jacked up like right away. His level 1 had like tons and tons of bonuses right away. But it's now feels more like Diablo 2 in that farming for loot has meaning now, and the whole point of that is back again. And depending on the difficulty you're playing on, you can run into some packs of enemies that will cause you to have some real tight moments on that game. Especially, the normal trash in that game is still pretty easy. Like, you can kind of walk through it, but ran into a few packs that were very, very difficult to kill. I moved the difficulty up to master on my newest playthrough, and it's pretty tough. I switched to torment for like a minute at one point and just got absolutely destroyed. So I never set it back on that. But
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of the torment, like the lowest torment difficulty. So there's normal, hard, expert, master, torment, and torment has 6 difficulties. So the first torment difficulty is basically like middle of the road, sort of.
Yeah.
But like my character's not geared that great.
Yeah,
but it was like decent for the time that I quit.
Yeah.
And like I have a lot of trouble with any of the rare mobs or the bosses. Like a lot of times I can beat them, but it will take me like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Like, the amount of life they have when you have difficulty is exponential. But it's a lot better than just normal Nightmare, Hell, Inferno was. The replayability factor is definitely in there. And you get, like I said, you get bonuses. So if you think you can play, if you're a good player, but you don't have much gear and you think you can handle like master difficulty right away, you should do that because it's like 150% XP and 150% like material drops, and drop rates on legendaries and things are a lot higher. So
Yeah, I've been running the higher difficulties on my my main is a barbarian, but I've been leveling up my demon hunter this weekend, and like I was running it on masters, which actually wasn't that bad because I have decent gear.
Yeah.
And I put it on torment, and like I'm actually enjoying torment a little bit because it's not that bad. Like I can still beat it, but
Yeah.
it's a challenge. Whereas on the other difficulties, leveling was kind of like mindless and monotonous because it was easy and I was just rolling through stuff.
Yeah.
But the scale is pretty good for leveling characters, I think.
Yeah. And Zick B Twitchy asks in chat, if D3 released like this, would you have been disappointed? No, I would have been much happier. It would have been actually more of a learning curve to start the game had it released like this, because there's a lot going on now. Like, to be honest, like Brandon said, there's 6 difficulties within Torment, which is part of 5 other difficulties. So, I mean, there's things like that. The Paragon levels are not immediately apparent as to what that does. But I did beat the game in like probably 10 to 12 hours, and I was level 48, as opposed to like 30 to 40 hours to get to that point, if not more.
The leveling comes fast, especially on the higher difficulties. It's just a lot more rewarding. I think there's a longer grind to get to the end, because getting a character to 60 and soon 70 and then like max Paragon levels that's a long grind, but it's a lot more satisfying when you're constantly seeing that number go up. It's not like there's not a lag and just like waiting to get items, waiting to level to your next one. Like actually playing on a new class that I haven't played before is fun, because I'm leveling up like every 15 to 30 minutes and I'm getting new skills and stuff. Like, it's just a lot more fun to play.
Yeah, and it feels like easier to experiment with builds and things. I don't know, it just feels like the game it should have been, really. Once the auction house is totally gone, although it is pretty much useless right now, because prices are so incredibly high, because everyone's trying to dump off their shit before the auction house goes away. So even right now, there's no real point to you using the auction house. I have a friend at work who plays, and he actually went on the auction house to gear up his level 60 because the gear was so much worse now for the difficulty that he wanted to play on. And I found that with my barb. I have a level 60 Paragon 6 barb, and it was like unplayable on like expert and masters. I just hit so weakly that it was I would need totally new gear, or to start on a difficulty where I would just destroy everything. So that's why I just started again.
Well, the funny thing is the gear that I had on my barb, which was not very good, but was like, some resist all stuff, like just sort of beginner level late game gear that was going for, a few million on the auction house or whatever. That stuff, like just in my playing for several hours, kind of by myself or with a friend and getting some new drops, I've actually replaced some of that gear already.
Yeah.
When that gear was like expensive gear, and I've already replaced it in just a few hours. Like that's how bad the gear situation was with the auction house being in the mix.
Yep, it was rough. So I think Diablo 3 is, if you bought the game and you were thinking about coming back for Reaper of Souls, or you hadn't played the game for over a year like me, come back and give it a try, because it definitely has a grip on me again. I'm also in full RPG mode because of Dark Souls, but
Feel that.
But it really is a good game now. Like it's I don't know. It makes you wonder if they were just racing to a deadline and didn't get this fully fleshed out, or if it was just the auction house, or what the thought process was on release with that game, because it's like a whole new game.
I think it's both of those things. I think when you throw the auction house in it, you can't, there's this idea that you don't want everything to drop to be just usable for your class, because
Right.
you want some things to be valuable that you can put on the auction house. But I think they just didn't expect that to go as horribly wrong as it did.
Yeah.
And it's taken 2 years now to sort
Yeah.
of tease all of that out and find the good parts of the game again. But to their credit, taking down the auction house, we talked about it before, that's a huge move. I never expected them to actually go through with that. And the fact that they've more or less fixed a lot of the original issues with the game that people didn't like.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Reaper of Souls. I already pre-ordered it.
Yeah. I pre-ordered it
That's
as
how they
well.
get you back in. Sell an expansion and remove something that everybody hated. Pretty easy way to garner,
To be honest, though,
positive
Mark,
support.
to remove something that big that was making them
yeah,
money,
I
that's
know. I
crazy.
played Diablo 3 when it first came out. I know how big that was, and I can't believe they removed it either. But it makes sense. I don't think anybody would have cared about Reaper of Souls had they, kept everything else the way that it was.
I mean, I can
Yep,
see this
I agree.
actually being a long-term game now, with them taking that out, and with the Paragon levels being, you can get to Paragon 100, right?
No, there's no cap now, I don't believe. I don't believe there's a cap.
I could see it having a really long lifespan now, because it's one of those games where you're gonna buy it, you'll buy the expansion, and then it doesn't matter if I come back to it once a year, it's still gonna be there, hopefully in 5-10 years, and people will just have these crazy
And
characters.
One of the best modes that they've put in isn't even available yet, which is Adventure Mode, which basically puts you in a loot dungeon to grind out loot. And that those existed, loot runs don't exist in Diablo 3 as they did in Diablo 2, because you can't get around as easily with all classes. There was a lot of ways to teleport in Diablo 2, so you knew routes to bosses, kind of like speedrunning, basically. But you would go through, kill 4 or 5 bosses in 10 minutes, and then just reset and do it again. And that was Diablo 2. Once you hit, near max level, you just did that over and over and over. And now all you do is pop into adventure mode. It puts a dungeon full of elites in front of you, and you just farm, and then you reset and you do it again. And that mode isn't even in yet.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. When I saw that, I was like, oh yes, this is already in there. It's nope, it's not clickable.
Yeah, it's not clickable, but it's there. It's sitting there right under
What a
campaign.
tease.
I might reinstall this actually.
I mean,
I'm
it's
gonna be
just
playing it after the cast.
as
so
far
go
as
ahead.
gameplay, it's still really satisfying gameplay as far as using your skills and hitting things. That is still really good. That was never a bad thing, and they never changed that. So the good stuff that was good is still good. It's just everything else got improved.
Let me know if I start going robot because I'm downloading it.
All right. So that's Diablo 3. Obviously, the hype is real. As far as what else I played, I did play Airport Simulator 2014. And let me tell you guys, never has a more pointless game been made. Ever.
Well,
Yeah, when I looked
waited
at
for
it,
Sim Week, then there would have been a point.
it seemed like it didn't even care about its own objectives in the game when I watched you play some of it.
Well, here's the thing. Like, and I said this during the stream, I didn't realize it till I was partially into the game. So in sim games, right, you're just playing a job or you know,
very terrible job.
But you're at least playing it, right? So like you're clicking on things, you're making things move. I had to drive around the trucks and whatever in the beginning.
You're
but what happens? You're becoming super depressed that you're doing this. Yeah. The thing about Airport Sim, which I don't think is the case with like Euro Truck, at least I've heard actually that Euro Truck is like not a bad, relaxing game.
Yeah, everybody
to be
praises
honest.
that.
But this game, so you can upgrade the whole point is you start out this airport that's not doing very well, right? And so a plane lands, and then you got to take care of it. You got to do like the repairs, you got to get catering, all that shit. Okay.
The fuck kind of airplanes have catering?
Yeah, I've never been on a plane that had catering even for first class members. Like,
yeah,
catering.
Yeah. So you got to do all this stuff, right? But you can upgrade the gates, okay? But what those upgrades do for each item is it automates it. And if you go, you can win the game by upgrading everything on every gate to level 3. Mm-hmm. The thing is, the game would have to end at that point because all you do, I got one gate up fully upgraded to level 1. You then do not play for that gate anymore. Everything is automated. The computer does everything. So
essentially, you're just making the game play itself.
Yeah, so the further you get along in Airport Sim 2014, the less you actually do. Like, literally, that is
it really is simulating a job a little too well. It's like, because the more effort you put into it, the more you get to take off later. But, like, if that's the whole point, is doing the job, then it's
like, by the time... Yeah, I mean, by the time... I streamed that game for, like, 3 hours. And by the end of the third hour, we had that whole gate going. So there was... Even then, with, like... I had maybe half the stuff on all gates upgraded to level 1. Maybe half. I'm probably being generous there. There was nothing to do for like 5 to 10 minutes at a time. Because like it was all automated. So so the more you do in that game, the less there is to do.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't get any harder. There's just less to do. Like it's so baffling.
Well, you know, it's not going to make it into Sim Week.
Yeah, that I've already beaten it essentially, so it's
pretty much.
You're probably the first person to beat one of those shitty simulator games, so you should feel proud.
I know,
in that
right?
accomplishment.
I also beat Dark Souls again with a different build. And
how many times have you beaten it now?
Just twice. That's it.
Okay.
Can you beat it in like 15 minutes yet?
It was like my first playthrough was 42 hours and something, and then
good lord,
second playthrough was 9 hours. So
that is a big cut.
Yeah. I mean, once you know where everything
World record is about 51 minutes.
Yeah. Any percent is about 51 minutes. So
have you watched that guy stream at all? Tyler's Gaming? He's pretty good.
No, I watched Sanso a lot, who had that world record for a long time.
Until Tyler beat him.
Yeah.
I like watching Tyler stream. He's a good dude.
All 26 bosses, the world record's like an hour 22, something like that. So,
yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much you can cut out. But I'm kind of done with that game now. Like, I mean, I'm basically Dark Souls 2 needs to come out.
You don't have long if you're getting it on console.
Yeah, we'll see. I still haven't decided.
I pre-ordered the collector's edition because I get the feeling that with a huge delay on the PC version, they're probably not going to be doing a collector's edition for the PC version.
Yeah.
And I'll probably just digital download it anyway. I'll probably buy it again, but I pre-ordered the $120 collector's edition because YOLO Knight figurine.
That Knight figurine is boss, though.
It looks sweet. I'm excited.
But that was it. That was it for me. Mark, what did you play this week, man?
I have played quite a lot of games. I have done my usual loadout. I've cut down a little time on that because I've been having a lot of network issues with that game. I'm not sure what the hell's going on with it. My problem is when I go into the game and I try to join a match immediately, I get a connection error and it just says that, it's unable to connect to servers, blah, blah, blah. Press F7 if this continues. I have to wait, I would say about 15 minutes, and then the network resolves itself and I'm able to connect to games. I just have to let it run in the background for about 15 minutes or so, and then I can play. So I only play it when I have something else to do while it sits there for 15 to 20 minutes, because I don't like sitting there and doing nothing. I just want to get in there and play a game. That's why I like playing first-person shooters like that, is because I just want to play, half an hour. I play a few games, and that's what that's what I want to do. It's not really one of those long-term things like playing WoW or something for 5 or 6 hours in a sitting, because that's just how that game works. But with a first-person shooter, I like to just get in there and get away to playing. But I've played about 7 hours of that in the past couple of weeks, and that's a lot of time cut down, because I think in the initial week or so of that game being released, I put about 30 hours into the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know what did it. It was probably just some random patch that ended up causing some random issue. And I've sent in a bug report, but I don't know what causes it to even, say anything remotely technical about it. It's just weird that, it takes 15 to 20 minutes for the network to just start working. I have no idea how that happens, but I've also played some Payday 2. They had an update come out recently that gives a new difficulty level called Death Wish, and I've been trying to grind my character up in levels so I can start doing Death Wish. It's the step above Overkill, and it actually changes the heist in some. It doesn't specifically say how with each heist, but it, like in the text on the Steam page, it says something like, "Oh, a bridge that was once there might be blown up now," or just something silly. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm sure that it's so goddamn hard that you need a full team of people who have, their specific roles with their talent trees and everybody working together. There's no way I can just hop into it with one friend, which I only have like one person that I play the game with. So it's just a matter of finding a group to play with. But yeah, I'm trying to get back into that. That's a long grind. I've already put like 7 more hours into the game. I've only gone up a few levels. It takes a while. You have to play with a team and play on higher difficulty levels to level up quickly.
Yeah.
And I play on my own time, so I just play with bots, and I can't play above like hard, or I just get stomped on, because the bots they're fucking garbage. Like, all they do is just soak up damage. That's all they're good for, is that they can take a goddamn beating for about 15 years of bullets before they're taken down for some reason. But I've been playing a few other games. I actually started Civ 5. I tried to get into that. I played about an hour of it just to try to learn how the game works. It's not a genre that I've ever gotten into before. And really the only grabber for me is that it has, Steam Workshop with a bunch of custom civilizations and religions. And I just want to learn how the game works so I can start my Krusty Krab civilization where Mr. Krabs is taking over the world and killing everybody, or have like I was saddened to see that nobody has made the base god religion in Civilization 5. If anybody out there is a modder and can make that, please God, just put Lil B as a religion in Civ 5, and I will definitely play it.
Make him as a faction leader.
Yeah, definitely. But other than that, I've been playing some really shitty games. I bought that simulator pack on Bundle Stars, and then I bought 3 other bundles on Bundle Stars because they're less than $5, and they give you like 8 terrible games. So I just figured, why not? I tried some RPG on a stream that didn't work out. It's called Realms of Arcania. It's like an old school franchise from back in the 90s, and they did a reboot, and it's like. it tries to be Skyrim in a sense that it has some first-person aspect to it, but it's mostly just a tabletop RPG with, you know, the normal RPing crap where you have a text screen and somebody's like, oh, you go into this dank forest and you find an orc who shot some arrows at you. Do you want to pursue? And then you pursue, and then nobody is able to shoot anything. I tried to get my party members to find some herbs, and none of them can. You like park at a camp and you send your people out to go find supplies or whatever so you can fucking live. And herbs are one of those things. And I get nobody in my party is fucking capable of finding herbs, and the game is not very good at explaining how you're supposed to play it. So I just quit after an hour. It was too much. The combat was terrible, to say the least. It was turn-based combat on, you know, like a grid type system where you move squares over and you get in range of a character and then you damage it. And we had my party and all of the enemy right next to each other, and there were about 7 or 8 turns of attacks where all of the attacks failed. And how is that supposed to be fun if nobody gets hit? It was the most boring thing in the world to just see every single attack fail or get parried for like 3 or 4 people in a row. It was fucking stupid. But I mean, yeah, other than that, just more dumb games. I bought a game called Dungeon Lord, some other shitty RPG that I'm going to stream. I've been setting that. Most of my days are spent setting up terrible games and then streaming them. Oh yeah, I also finished that visual novel game that I've been playing. That fucking Go Nippon. Yeah.
Oh God.
The tour guide visual novel. God,
yes.
It was so good. It was such a beautiful love story. But yeah, they just take. They sell it as, you know, on the Steam page. They sell it as learn about Japan. It's a tour guide. You're going with these girls who are going to teach you different things about Japan, and they do. But it just fucking railroads into some, you know, love story with you are the senpai and she's your waifu now, and then you go back to Japan a year later after learning everything there is to know about Japan, and you make, you know, babies with each other. I don't know what the sequel is going to entail. I'm sure that there is a sequel in the works. It would only make sense. They can't just leave a cliffhanger like that on me. It was probably my best Steam purchase of the past month, honestly.
It's
great. Sequel. Everybody should play it. It's got definitely underage girls in their panties. I mean, what else can you ask for in a video game?
Decency.
Water closet?
Water closet, yes.
All right. What about you, Blah? What have you been up to?
Pretty much everything I've been playing the past couple of weeks. You know, nothing too special. I am working my way through Dark Souls still. I'm streaming it quite a lot now. I very rarely play the game when I'm not streaming. I will occasionally do the more boring stuff like farm or level up a weapon or something when I'm not streaming. But I just beat Nito, First of the Dead, tonight.
Yep.
And then Ceaseless Discharge, which just happened to be my nickname in college.
God, yeah, that's what a fucking name.
What an awfully designed boss, by the way. But
what is so bad about him?
So you managed to see, you did what I did the first time, which was die horribly the first couple times and then kill him the normal way.
Yeah.
But what you can actually do is pick up that Goldhem set, run all the way back to the fog gate, stand there, and Ceaseless will run over, fall off the edge, slam his hand onto the ground, and you just cut his hand twice, and his hand falls off, and he falls down and dies. That's the whole fight, if you want it to be. But there's what can also happen, which didn't happen to you, is once you wipe once to him and you come back, and he's already aggroed, you know, because you already picked up the stuff. So he can just spam that fire attack to the point where you literally cannot move far enough and live. Ooh. That can actually happen. So, the second time I went and killed him, it took me like 45 minutes to an hour of just like trying to see if he would randomly not do that attack, and tried to cheese him. So it's just really poorly designed. Bed of Chaos is also a piece of shit boss.
I've seen one video of someone killing him.
The designers have said that they regret both those bosses a lot, actually.
Yeah, Ceaseless Discharge for me was really not difficult, especially when I got the the gold. Although if his
No,
RNG
he's not
was
hard.
bad,
He's
I
just
could definitely see. Yeah, just poorly designed. I could definitely see if his RNG was bad and he just kept spamming that same attack. Like considering it was almost impossible to dodge. I
no,
dodged
you
it
can't.
once or
You
twice.
can't really dodge it though. Like it's not.
You can't reliably dodge.
Yeah, and it goes through walls, so like you can't.
It does, yeah. every enemy in that game has wall hacks. I've been hit through the walls so many times, like like not even beam attacks or anything, just dudes with like really big arms. Like in at Orlando, there's one of those prowling demons, the like sort of like statuesque kind of guys, in a very tiny room for something that size. And I aggroed it, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not doing that great, so I'm going to go ahead and back out. So I backed out of the door, and I was a good, like, I don't know, I would say, like, if you laid your character down, I was, like, 2 character lengths away from the door, and it just swung its pull through the door and killed me, like, through the wall. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, friend?
Yeah, there's... the best one is the golem in Sen's Fortress, the guy who's throwing the fireballs at you. If you go up and kill him, he does this attack where he just wildly swings his arms, and his model is enormous. Like, it's huge. Yeah. And so he can just hit you, like, halfway down the stairwell. But what happens is he does this, like, wild attack, and then he gets tired, and you can just wail on him. Like, that's just how he works. But he'll do that, and if you're not far enough away, he just kills you, because he just hits you so many times with piston fists through the wall. So it's there's some design choices in Dark Souls that maybe are not the best.
Some questionable choices.
Should I play it? I have owned it since 2012.
Should you play it? It's extremely hard. I mean, you'll have to be really patient.
Yeah,
like,
do you like very difficult games?
Yeah, it
it's
depends.
awesome.
If I'm in the mood, yeah, I can.
It's
awesome.
Then yes. I mean, it's not so hard that it's impossible, but you do. It's going to be a game that you're probably going to want to stream because
that's what I figured would happen.
I have found that the tips on where to go,
the notes in the game.
Oh no, not even those. I mean, like just from my stream viewership, people who have played the game will give me hints on where to go when I need it. And luckily, no, there isn't too much. I get annoyed when I'm, I'm like trying a boss and I'm not beating the boss, and people are telling me what to do, and I'm just like, no, I feel like I'm just not playing well enough, and you need to just like let me deal with this. Yeah. But when I'm stuck and I literally have no idea where to go because the game is very unfriendly and very poor at explaining itself, it's very, very helpful to have a group of people who have played the game and who are friendly towards you.
It's mostly about having moderators that can just purge the chat if people are being stupid.
Yep.
Yeah. That's one thing.
That's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only thing that would keep me from playing it and streaming it is, people being backseat gaming fucks. I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate it so much.
Well, that's Dark Souls in a
that is Dark Souls community.
Dark Souls is very backseat gamey because
you'll need it too.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
No, I mean it's not backseat gaming if I ask for help, but if I'm just playing the game and I'm trying to learn it on my own and I'm not asking for help, fuck off. Just watch the stream release.
Because you get people with Dark Souls though, where there's a very powerful sword easy on. We've talked about it on other podcasts called the Drake Sword. And there were people who would come in my stream. It said first playthrough in the title. Like, I need every advantage I can get, like, going into this. And people were like, oh, fucking pussy Drake Sword run. Like, this is bullshit. I'm out of here. And I'm just like, what? All right,
this
dude.
Does not meet my Twitch criteria. My
just like, what do you mean? Like, it's there. I'm going to use it. I don't know what's happening.
This kind of reminds me of that. Wasn't there that time when you started streaming WoW again? You re-enabled your WoW account. Didn't some guy come in and be like, "Oh, I've been watching for a long time, but I'm sorry, I don't watch WoW streams," and then left and never came back?
Yeah, it was oh god, yeah, it was a dude. I know the dude's name. His name was Gish, which is a character from Isaac. And I'd been streaming a ton of Isaac at the time, and he said, "I'm sorry, I can't support streamers that stream World of Warcraft."
That's what it was.
Good, and he said, "Good luck," and then he left.
Fucking moron.
Good luck.
He said, "I can't support streamers who stream World of Warcraft, League of Legends, or Dota 2. I can't support you." And
why
like,
Dota 2? What's wrong with Dota 2?
I was like, I guess it's because it's real big. It's always
too
on
mainstream.
Yeah, it's
God.
I was like,
indie. They're indie viewers.
Yeah, I guess.
That's the play.
Because you got to imagine, like, if his whole thing was Binding of Isaac, apparently, which is great because Binding of Isaac for a long time had just as many people streaming it. Maybe not as much as like Dota 2 when it comes to like the international and stuff.
Super fucking popular.
Yeah,
it's very popular.
It is.
It may be an indie developed game, but it's a very popular game to stream. It's
hipsters, man, hipsters.
It's those damn hipsters. But yeah, so Dark Souls has been the main thing. I've been working my way further into Bravely Default. Nothing really new there. I'm trying to think if there's anything new. I don't think there's really anything. I guess I started playing Risk of Rain again. I'm probably going to stream that after the podcast, actually. That game is still super goddamn hard. I unlocked a new character, and I'm very interested in learning him because he's a sword, like, stealthy, like, quick character, and he's very fun. But he's very, very difficult. I haven't been able to pass the 3rd level. I think there's 5 or 6, I think 6 levels in that game before you beat it. I haven't been able to pass level 3 yet.
Mm-hmm.
But also I started the month of Blarch.
Yes.
Plug.
Blarch hype.
Blarch
Brandon,
hype
I think you're
is-
muted. Unless you didn't mean to. Sorry,
I
go
am
ahead, Blarch.
Muted. No, I was just I was going to ask about that if you didn't mention it.
Oh yes, yeah. The month of Blarch is me streaming every day for a month, which isn't a very long stream challenge by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of people do, like, in order to build a fan base, they build they build it via doing a year stream challenge or even a 2-year stream challenge, like Lethal Frag just finished recently, and I can't really commit to that.
You're indie as fuck, so you're doing 1 month. I know.
It's more about making sure that I actually have income and not putting all my eggs in one basket. So it's going to be a very tiring month because unlike people who do these stream challenges, they go all in. They quit their jobs or they just lost their jobs, and that's why they're doing this kind of thing. Something like that. I have a full-time job that I'm going to be doing in addition to this, so it's going to be a very tiring month, and I'm not going to have a lot of time to, like, see my friends in real life, which is fine because I think I only have like 2 left anyway. But
Well, I hate to say it, Nick, but I only support people who do 5-year live stream challenges. So I can't support your stream anymore. I can't come back. I have to blacklist it.
I'm sorry that I wasn't indie enough for you, Mark. Will you come back if I start playing Binding of Isaac?
Yeah, sure.
I swear I'll never stream World of Warcraft again.
If you cancel your WoW subscription, I'll come back to your stream. if you show it to me.
Show you the receipt of cancellation.
Yeah.
Pay for it.
So there's that. This is only day 2, so I just started this because it is only the 2nd because it's every day of March. It's
Blarch is, I'm sorry, but Blarch is the worst fucking name.
it sounds terrible.
It's
That's
so
why I
bad.
picked it sounds like an onomatopoeia of somebody vomiting, doesn't it? I love it. I love it because it's terrible. That's
that
why
word is like the embodiment of how I feel when I watch your streams.
Oh wow!
Ouch,
man.
Damn.
I would never go that far.
That would explain why you don't stick around much. You come in and you, like, say something snarky and then you're gone.
I stay when you're playing TF2.
Brandon lurks like
I
crazy,
just
man.
wanted to try to, like, get back into his TF2. I haven't played TF2 in forever. I'm garbage at that game. I'm so bad.
You're bad when you're playing. You're bad when you're not playing. It doesn't really matter.
All right, so month of Blarch.
Excellent shaman, though.
Yeah, except when I heal. I'm a garbage healer. Good lord. We tried healing last night. We did our first guild raid. We did 10-man Throne of Thunder. One fight was a really big healer fight, and naturally we wiped on it like 5 times because I was one half of the heal team. The other half was Tim, who's a good healer, and me, who's a terrible healer. And I don't like healing at all. I want to go back to DPS. Give me deeps.
Maybe I should level finally and heal because I know how to heal.
Please do that. Thank you.
Please.
So
They're trying. I'm gonna have to fucking play my druid. Do you know how much I hate Resto Druid after 7 years?
I'm currently, I think, our best geared DPS in my enhancement set. Maybe tied with, like, Wolfie.
I'll go Holy Pally. It'll be easy.
Do it.
Alrighty. Brandon. The Diablo 3, we know that.
Yeah, I got back into Diablo 3 a little bit Friday, and then stayed up until like 5 yesterday playing. So I'm probably gonna play some more of that. But we talked about that at length. Other than that, really just Hearthstone. I mean, Hearthstone and ARAMs here and there. But still grinding away at Hearthstone. Had a nice arena match before the cast that I won. So I'm 5-1 in my arena deck.
Shit, man.
and I think I've successfully gotten John into Hearthstone now.
No, you've gotten my wallet into Hearthstone. There's a difference between getting me involved in the game and getting my dollars involved in the game. The fun to me is opening up packs and getting cards, not using those cards in the game itself. It's a collection.
They really love John over at Blizzard.
Yeah. I probably put like 12 hours into actually playing the game, and 4 or 5 of those hours were opening $150 worth of packs.
Good God.
Jesus, dude.
Oh well.
No cares given.
Just wanna buy cards.
So what else did you play this week, John?
A lot of WoW, a lot of TF2. Actually, not a lot of WoW, just WoW. A lot of TF2, some CSGO, lots of Battlefield 4. That was probably what I played the most this week. I forgot about the new map pack.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it came out because I played it a couple days afterwards, having forgot then. And then like I hadn't played for a few days, and I forgot that it was a thing that existed. So I'd been playing a lot of that because Caspian Border's like the best fucking map ever. It's just so
they
good.
look really, really good as well.
So I love Battlefield 4, and people need to play it as a group again because it's fun.
Yep, like I said, KBMOD Clan or Platoon.
I
is
own it
out
and
there.
have still never played it. I bought it when it was on sale.
So good.
I don't know because it wrecked my computer the first time that I got it, and I got a refund for it because I didn't want to deal with it, but I don't know if it'll still do the same thing because I was having like 98% CPU usage on that game.
Yeah.
I don't get it at all.
Hmm.
Never
It
had
might
it
be
yet.
fixed now.
Yeah, it could be. I just haven't tried it.
But speaking of things that aren't fixed, the chat just reminded me of another game I've played since last time. Guys, I played Rambo the video game.
Oh, that is such a
And,
great fucking game. What
Holy
a
shit.
Fucking national treasure.
Holy shit. It's 2014 and that thing is $40. That's like all, I mean, so it's an on-rail shooter. Didn't know that when I started. Not advertised whatsoever in the trailers or anything else. I thought it was an FPS, which would have been hilarious enough. But nope, it's an on-rail shooter a la Area 51 or...
Not just an on-rail shooter, but also just QuickTime event cinematics.
Yes, but let me say, the best part about the QuickTime events, you can get a perk. You can get a perk that allows you to skip all the QuickTime events.
You don't even have to do it. I've watched a stream where someone didn't even press the fucking buttons, and it still counted. You just don't get your score because it's like a score.
Well, actually, I died. There's one in the
really?
beginning you can die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can die.
Like I remember specifically the one where Rambo is hiding behind a tree and a cop comes and he stabs him in the face. Didn't press a button, still stabbed him in the face. He just didn't get points for it.
The most fun we had was just me doing Rambo impressions during that stream. Really, I got most of the way through Rambo 2. It got 1 out of 10 from Destructoid. Very well earned 1 out of 10. Most places didn't even review it. It's clearly a game where someone was like, we've got this Rambo license for some reason. Let's fucking make a video game, I guess. So in the Vietnam part, I'm actually a huge fan of the Rambo movies because actually First Blood is a pretty good movie, to be honest. It's like a solid movie, like with a decent story and like all that. The other Rambo movies are just awesome, mindless, ridiculous action movies. But the first movie is actually pretty good. So part of me was like, oh, I'm a fan of Rambo. But I was just getting this for the lulz to begin with. But in the second movie, which is all in Vietnam, all the enemies are just the same model of a white dude.
Yep.
They're not even Asian.
They're
not even Asian. It's just the white dude model.
Nice.
Also, the best part, maybe the best part about it is the voices in this game
are
ripped from the movies.
Yep.
So they didn't even get like bad voice acting to do. What they did was so you can hear like the environment noises from the movies. Like they didn't even.
I'm gonna buy that. $40.
Yeah, they didn't even rip.
I think it should still be on sale a little bit. Maybe not. No, actually, I think it's over. So it is 40 now. It was like 34 for like the first week that it was released.
Great value. Yeah, 34.
Yeah,
it's
really good.
Seriously, that's a steal.
It's probably about 3 hours long if you were to beat the whole game. Like I got like more than halfway through it in an hour and a half or so. It looks terrible. It looks like it was rendered for a PS2. Like,
I wonder if that's the only reason it got made. Maybe this was just a project that was sitting somewhere. And they're like, you know what? Doesn't cost us anything for digital distribution. Let's throw this thing
fucking
up.
throw this thing out there. Also, you can play co-op, and you both control the same character. You both control the same character. It isn't split screen. It's just fuck.
Now what I don't know is one person controlling the gun and the other is doing the cover mechanics? Is
I
that how that
think
works?
so. Yes,
Yeah,
Giant
that's
Bomb was
probably how it
just
works.
so baffled
So
when they did a
bad.
quick look. I had no way to do it because it's local co-op only, so I had no
Oh,
way
yeah,
to do
yeah.
it. But yeah, and that was the other thing. I had it on the highest graphics settings, which whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit.
480p.
Yeah, I turned it on to low, and it looked better. It
It's
looked
weird because some of the
better.
environments look like somebody put some actual effort into it.
Yeah.
And then when you look at Rambo's character, when it does like a random cut, and he looks like an abortion. He looks fucking awful.
Yeah, Rambo looks
He's the worst
horrendous.
mod- like he's the
Like
main
an
character.
abortion.
He does
He's the main
kind of.
character.
He
It
He's
looks like
the
somebody
most
put a
an
Stretch
abortion.
Armstrong down
John,
of it.
the back of his skull doesn't render,
No,
and you can
so-
see his brain.
So there's the scene from the movie whenever he's in the police station and they have him in the room and he like puts his hands behind his head. God, it's like he has severe disfigurement and that his head is bigger than the rest of his entire body. Everybody should just see that scene when he's in the police station and they're like telling him to put his hand behind his head and then they like hit him with a nightstick.
Yeah.
He just looks fucking
I
terrible.
would just like to reiterate, though.
How is he killing all of these people? He looks like he just suffers pain all day long.
Quick
because
time
his body is
events
awful.
are a big part of this game, and the first perk you unlock is called Cool Hand U. And it just allows you to never have to hit the buttons in quick time events. So then there's this horribly offensive part of this, right? And it's part of Rambo 1, in which, by the way, only one person dies in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Not many people know that. You think of Rambo movies and you're just like, it's severe bloodshed through the whole movie. No, one dude dies in that whole movie. And when you're playing through Rambo 1, it has this part where the cops are coming after you, and in the movie he like disarms them and knocks them out. But no, you have an AK-47 and it's like shoot to disarm, and you have to like aim for
Yeah,
their
you have to
arms,
aim it.
and if you don't, you hit them, you lose points, and it yells "cop killer" at you, like, and it's just like. And so after a while, I was just like, I just shot all the cops in the face because I was like, my score doesn't fucking matter whatsoever. So I played that. That happened. The VOD is
Don't
on
wanna
here.
Be top on the leaderboard of Rambo the video game.
No, I
have to be on
fucking
the
no. We're gonna take a 2-minute commercial break. Then we'll be right back. You can watch the VOD of Rambo. It's on our Twitch channel. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Seriously, that fucking game. $40 fucking in 2014 for this thing.
I forget the developer or if they even have any other games. I don't think they do.
Brief Entertainment is the
Yeah, I think that's their
developer.
only video game on Steam. So there's
It's UK
nothing to.
based.
I need to look it up to see if they've done anything.
I'm telling
else.
you, someone just had a Rambo license and like, oh no, that's the publisher. Reef is the publisher. God,
okay.
Taeon was the developer.
Mm-hmm.
Reaper
Taeon.
is the reason.
I am shocked that Rambo: the video game did not exceed expectations.
All right, so here's some other games developed by Taeon. Governor of Poker. Robot Rescue Revolution.
Is poker a body that needs to be governed?
I don't know, but they also made Skater Cat. Ride the
Skater
streets
Cat,
with
okay,
Ollie,
yeah,
the
I'm
sleekest
I am
cat
all
on the
about
block.
Skater Cat.
And put your
I'm looking up
reflexes
this
to the test as you make spectacular tricks in the
So
air.
it looks like they've dipped their toes into a few different genres.
Yeah.
Oh, we also have Paranormal State,
Dip
Poison
something.
Spring, 101 Penguin Pets 3D, Banana Bliss Jungle Puzzles, Bird Mania Christmas 3D, Castle Clout 3D.
These are just
and then,
words.
And then right in the middle of all this, Rambo the video game.
Those
I
are just a
cannot.
bunch of words.
I honestly cannot.
Rambo the video game.
I'm so fucking done.
It's It's only on PS. Most of these games are on like 3DS,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple PC titles and a couple PS3.
Thank God for the
Jesus.
PC titles.
Yep, that's a thing. Yeah,
Can't join our clan in D3.
I know. I need to make it public. I
screwed it
guess
up.
I was a little hesitant to make it public because of all the gold spam in that game, but
I don't think you have a choice now.
yeah, I agree. Okay, we are back. We have a lot of news because we're off, and we've already been at this for like an hour, so we're gonna go quickly through some of these. This was just revealed during SoCal Regionals, which is currently going on. It's currently Street Fighter Finals. Ultra Street Fighter 4, which is coming out for PC the same day as consoles. It's $15 if you have Street Fighter 4 already, or you can buy like all of it at once for like $40. I think in June, maybe. Yeah, I think in June. So they said there's going to be 5 new characters for Ultra Street Fighter 4, and they announced 4 of them, and they had been not announcing the last one. And it turns out the last one is any character from any past edition of Street Fighter 4. So you can play Sagat from regular Street Fighter 4 against Sagat from Ultra Street Fighter 4 AE. For those that don't know fighting games, they come out with several versions of every game, which tweak. It's not just patches, like they tweak tons of stuff and add new features, so they basically release it as a new game, not just as a patch. So basically, this has never been done before. And I highly doubt this will be in tournament play because the balancing ramifications of this is like completely ridiculous. Basically, it'd be like if you think of, I'm trying to think of an equivalent other game, or some weapon in a game that was very overpowered. It would basically be like you could choose the first version of the M16 in COD 4 versus the one that was nerfed. Like that's the best example I can come up with, even though that wasn't a real example. So like Vanilla Sagat was ridiculous in Street Fighter 4, and so like you'll be able to play them. I highly doubt this makes it to tournament, but this news is about 30 minutes old now, so you can check that out on Sure You Can .com if you want. But that's pretty cool that they're doing that. It's just a matter of balancing that for tournament. I think is nigh impossible. So, Dark Souls 2 PC release. There was a rumor that was out on all our news sites that was said it was going to be April 25th. From has denied that and basically has said we'll let you know soon when it is. PC version is going to run at much higher resolution, have higher resolution textures, and also run at 60 FPS. So, I mean, obvious PC things, but From has never done an actual PC game before. Not even Dark Souls is an actual PC game. So, we'll see when we finally get a release date on that. I'm really hoping they let us know soon here so I can make a decision on whether or not to buy this thing for PS3 or not. Because if it's going to be May, I'm definitely buying it on PS3. I'm not
That's
waiting
how they get you.
2.5 months.
It looks like a legit advertisement.
It does.
Well,
I mean,
they had it. So if you follow the trail back to Silicon Era, like there's no source at all. Like there's no source at all. And then From tweeted that they have not announced a release date yet. So it does look like but that's the same collector's edition that there was for PS3 and Xbox. And they, you could shop that if you wanted. We'll see. I mean, I'm hoping it's not April 25th is really what I'm saying. I'm hoping it's March 25th or something a lot sooner. Moving on here. This is not really a surprise, but a lot of people were like, oh my God. So people were freaking out because 48 gigabytes for Titanfall install. Why are you freaking out, dude? Like,
Well, 21 gig download.
yeah. I mean,
And then 48 gig install. So, I mean, that's something that should also be on the headline is that it's not a 48 gig fucking download. It's less than half of that.
mhm.
And I already have games that are closing in on that kind of size. BioShock
Max
Infinite was
Payne.
30 gigs.
Max
Yeah.
Payne was 40.
Yeah, Max Payne was enormous, and that was like 3 years ago now.
The Witcher 2 is like almost 30 gigs. That was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't know. It's not news to me.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
a little surprising to me just because there is no single
I mean, yeah,
player
because it's
component.
multiplayer
Yeah.
only. Yeah.
there
It
are going to be.
surprises me that it's that large.
You got to
but
think
I
about
don't
this
really
though.
care.
There's going to be 15 high-res maps, all high-res assets. I mean, that's a lot. People discount how big high-res textures are.
I'm guessing
Yeah,
that's almost all of it. Is
And
like
also
the
compressed
high
audio.
resolution textures and everything.
People were baffled when Ghosts was 50 gigs. I personally was like, well, it's a bit big, but it's not really that big if all the textures are actually HD. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
abnormal at all. But yeah, so there's your install. So if you have an SSD, you might be worried.
Can we the really more surprising thing to me on this announcement is the system requirements saying that you can play this on a 4770 or an 8800 GT. That is a lie.
I don't know that it
It will
is.
be a slideshow. You can open it. If you're playing anything on an
If you wanna look at the
8800
menu.
GT in 2014, that is not the minimum.
But
That should not be the minimum for
let
any
me-
sane person.
let me say, though, that it is based off the Source engine. So it could very well run.
It could possibly do
Yes,
something. I don't.
That's what
I
I'm
don't know if it
saying.
would be
That
stable.
you will be able to open it. I am sure you will be able to open it, click a button, and get into a game. And you will be able to play at some level, perhaps 5 to 10 FPS. If that's the definition of minimum, then I guess it's valid. I just wish that minimum, like that's why we've talked about this before, but I hate minimum and recommended system requirements because there's no definition of them.
Right.
Like the minimum should mean minimum you can play that like you don't hate it.
30 FPS.
Yeah.
Minimum
30
should have,
should
like,
be.
should have FPS,
It should.
requirements.
And it should be 30
around it.
FPS. If it goes under 30, then it's not playable. Because
'Cause
really,
I feel
it's
like
not.
I feel like that's one of the reasons a lot of people still have the idea that PC gaming is like not a good experience or something because they'll look at system requirements
Mm-hmm.
and for a game they want to play and they'll buy those requirements or whatever and they'll be like, oh, okay, that didn't cost that much, but then they'll play the game and it's terrible. They get terrible performance. And it's like, well, yeah, that's because those requirements literally mean nothing.
Yeah,
Minimum system requirements
I don't know if
is
you
like
I don't know if you saw this, Brandon, but there was a guy that was trying to get, I forget who he was, but he was some higher up in the video game industry, was trying to get like a PC standards thing going, like for PC games, to where there would be something like that, where it would be like your game can run at 30 FPS, like on this, on these. This is the minimum hardware that can run it at 30 FPS. They were actually trying to get that started. I haven't heard anything about it since the summer, but
yeah, like I wish that's what it was. I wish it was like 30 FPS on every setting on low. That's what you can call your minimum system requirements.
yeah. So maybe we'll have that. DayZ, Dean Hall's leaving the development team at the end of 2014. I guess he started it and didn't really give a shit about finishing it.
Well, he always said he was
it's
going
way
to
more-
leave.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
way like it's not nearly as surprising as
No,
everyone's
people-
making it out to be.
People have been
He
freaking
always
out.
said he was going to leave.
Um,
Yeah, like this is old news. It was like 2012 when he said that he was eventually going to leave DayZ after it got to a certain point.
And
There's still a year left almost for him. Like the game's going to be
yeah,
out.
yeah, no, it's gonna be out in
And they just
the first
increased the dev
betas
team,
when he
so-
leaves. So like it's already pretty well done already. They just and on the heels of this news, they have doubled the just recently doubled the development team on DayZ. They're working on a cooking system for meth in the game, obviously. But no, they have they're going to put in a cooking system for food, obviously, and hopefully make medicine and other things like that. But we'll see. I mean, DayZ's already pretty good. So I mean, I'm not too worried about it, although I'm not that into DayZ. So there's that too.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for some new features to come in before I get back into it. I started playing the alpha when it first came out, and I like the idea of I don't need the game to have everything. I like the idea that the community makes a lot of its own experience in that game, and The subreddit is like it's just one of those things that you can go to a subreddit and you can just read people's stories and they take screenshots.
Yeah.
And that's an experience in and of itself, and it's better than pretty much anything that you could come up with as a developer to put into the game. Is just facilitating these people's own personal stories. So, I mean, as long as they just make the game run better, like that's what I want. I don't want to be inside of a building.
It runs a lot
the
better
game,
now. But...
Well, yeah, it does run better. But the biggest problem for me is that when you're inside of a building, the game still renders the outside world and your frame rate doesn't improve. Like I can be staring at a fucking wall, but if I'm looking towards a city, then it seems to be acting like it's still rendering out that city, and my performance is still just as bad. It's fucking garbage. Like, 30 frames and I'm skipping everywhere. It's just I don't get how that engine does that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll even be able to improve it. That engine has always been so notorious for being garbage. So I don't know. I'm sure it'll get better, but I don't know if it'll get to a decent enough point to where it'll...
DayZ at this point is a lot bigger than just Rocket. And I feel like even if he had said he was stepping down tomorrow, like what does that even matter? They've made a lot of money from that game. Like they have to have a bigger team now just to make the game better, and I don't think it's going to be driven by like this one guy's vision.
It's a big problem when people think that one person is the sole owner of a video game's ideas and that they are the only person that's responsible for that game being what it is. Like there's a lot of fucking people working on that game.
With Rocket, he has somewhat of his own doing positioned himself as the face of that.
Yeah,
not just as the lead dev, but like as a dude who is, out doing, Reddit AMAs. He's on like 10 PAX panels. The last like 2 PAX is like he has positioned himself as sort of.
If you've got something to ask about DayZ, ask me.
Yeah, and not. Not that I'm comparing him to the impact of Gabe Newell, but it's sort of the same deal with Rocket, like with DayZ, Notch, Rocket.
I would say it's closer to Notch, but even
a lot closer. To
I think
Notch.
That's maybe that is an apt comparison because like I think he can see he can see when he's not going to be contributing the way that he needs to, like the way that the lead of that team needs to, and so he's already planning his exit because like maybe either his heart isn't into it the way it was in the beginning or something. Like for the good of the game, maybe he needs to step out.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I think that. I'm saying
Notch,
like from his perspective.
Notch is the best example, the best thing to compare this to, because when Notch told people he was stepping down and handing over the lead of Minecraft, people were like, "Oh my god, no!" But
people did freak out.
Can't do it forever.
Well, I mean, and at least with Minecraft, it was well after the final development process of just the standalone release that he left. I mean, I guess this has more weight to it because it's still so early in development, and he's leaving a year, and it's still going to definitely be a hard beta at that time. It's not going to be.
That was sort of why I was. That was sort of why I was even somewhat shocked initially by it. Yeah. Because of how it got delayed so far. It got delayed like a year for even the alpha. It was supposed to be out in like late 2012. It didn't come out till late 2013. And then he's like, well, peace at the end of 2014. Like, yeah, he was always going to leave, but part of me is like, well, you delayed this game for a year, and now you're going to do this. I mean, that's what seemed odd to me. But I'm sure the game will be fine. At this point, it's been fleshed out by enough people. There's other mods of DayZ that are awesome already. So,
yeah. The cool thing is, hopefully, he has other cool ideas, and he's flush with cash now. So
yep, that's no problem.
Moving on to a game that no one really wants to pre-order because it doesn't look very good, but Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is single player only. We've pointed that out before on this. You now get Doom beta access when you pre-order this game. Like, Doom doesn't even exist. Like, this isn't even like giving Battlefield 4 beta with Medal of Honor or whatever. Like, that's totally different because they knew there would be a Battlefield 4. Doom 4 got scrapped as recently as last summer, like to start it over. Like, what?
But
John
actually,
Carmack is gone.
I think that is a pretty close comparison. Like offering a beta for something that you have no idea what it really is going to be. And like, I don't think Doom can exist the same way that Doom has existed in the past.
No, not at
and
all.
like be a game that actually sells copies. So I think this is like the worst kind of thing where you're just basically trying to prey on people who have an affinity to the Doom franchise, and you're like, hey, we'll guarantee you beta access to Doom if you buy Wolfenstein. And it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, I like Wolfenstein and I like Doom, but I want to see what Doom actually is. I'm not gonna buy. I'm not gonna buy a Wolfenstein just to see that.
Also, when you got BF stuff that was for BF4, like you knew BF4 was pretty much going to come out when it came out. There's no ETA whatsoever on a Doom game. Nobody knows what that is.
Why is there a beta on a single-player shooter? Number one, why is there a beta?
I don't know, and I don't know. But you may not see this new Doom game till 2018. Like at the rate it does things, I mean. I just think it's a little ridiculous. This is definitely getting hype.
My guess is that there will be Doom at this year's QuakeCon.
You think there will be Doom? Because I don't.
Otherwise, I'm saying like I think that this makes, if there is no Doom shown this year, then this move makes absolutely no sense. It only makes sense in the smallest of ways. In the smallest of ways, it only makes sense if you can ride the Wolfenstein hype train into sort of the Doom hype train and keep that going for people that do care about both franchises. Right. But if you're just saying, like, you just get this nebulous Doom beta access whenever we're done with it, like, that is a terrible, terrible sales pitch.
Yep. So, that's a thing. I don't think
I'm just wondering, like, what is Doom? What is Doom now?
It can't be what it...
They talked about this on the Bombcast this week,
and
I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what, Doom is what it is because of the time it came out, the revolution it started, and the memories I have because of Doom. Like, what is Doom today? Doom does not even need to exist.
It's not an exciting prospect in the current day.
Yeah, with Carmack gone and everything, like, why would I even buy Doom? Let alone buy a game to get access to Doom earlier. Why do I care?
Buy a game with no multiplayer that pisses you off more than anything that has ever pissed you off.
Why would I buy a Wolfenstein with no multiplayer to get a beta of a Doom that also has no multiplayer?
Like, here's the whole thing. Like, Doom 3 went and they tried to make it into like a horror game, right? Like, no longer was it like a fast-paced FPS. Like, Dooms are also supposed to be huge technical marvels. Like, when this new Doom comes out, it better be the best looking game ever made. Like, it has to be. That's just what they do. But it can't be Hard Reset. It can't be that game anymore. And it can't be $60 if it is. Like, in a lot of ways. Because Hard Reset...
And I think Doom has to be $60 for it to like survive as a company.
Yeah, it has to. So Hard Reset did well because it was $30, and it harkened back to that old day of really hardcore, fast, Quake-like FPS that was single player only, but it was really, really hard. Like, that was the whole point of it. And that game did it really well, but it wasn't $60. Like, and nor should it have been. But that type of shooter, that's it. Hard Reset's like the only one that's come out since, probably the last Unreal, really, that's in that style of game and has actually worked. There's not really a market. There's not really a market for shooting up demons with my...
I'd put Shadow Warrior in that same group.
Yeah, but Shadow Warrior was also a remake of, like, an older game that was in that anyway. But Shadow Warrior also... My God, what a good-looking game!
Has a lot of charm
honestly,
too with the katana and whatnot. Like, that's just, I don't know. I mean, that kind of adds a lot to it.
But again, Shadow Warrior wasn't $60. I don't believe.
Yeah, no, it was 40.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't think that type of shooter can stand on its own as a $60 title. Like, they have to do something else with Doom, and they tried with Doom 3. Like, they turned it into a. I don't think Doom 3 is that bad. A lot of people think it's utter crap, but.
I don't like it. I don't think it was
Doom
that
3,
good.
Doom 3 was just a way different game than the first two were. It wasn't fast-paced.
it was like horror.
And
Yeah,
it
it was
also
more
wasn't about the mechanics. They also added a story and tried that, and it wasn't that good. Like, so,
Yeah,
I mean,
it
if you're...
leaned more to like horror than scary,
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like the stuff in Doom, well, like all the demons and everything, like they were scary, but the game did not make you recoil in horror because
It
of
didn't
something.
facilitate it that well, no, yeah.
It was just like, wow, this thing, I look like I'm in hell right now because of all these scary looking creatures.
Yeah.
Whereas Doom 3 was more of a horror kind of game, especially with the darkness and like stuff coming out at you when you didn't expect
I
it,
mean,
things like
Doom
that.
Doom 3 though was a technical marvel at the time. Like it hit that checkbox.
Very good looking game.
Yeah.
For
Still,
but, like,
still looks
that-
pretty good.
And I think
Yeah.
that's what people remember as Doom 3 is that at least Doom 3 sort of held up that tradition of pushing the envelope, like graphically. But
Mhm.
I think even that, like I don't think that cuts it today
No,
because
it
people
doesn't.
just don't care. Like Crisis, people don't buy Crisis because it's a Marvel anymore. Like, yeah, sure, it looks great, but
Crisis 3 did go back to that a little. But
Yeah, but Crisis 3 was also just a good fucking game. Like the multiplayer in Crisis 3 was good.
Crisis
It wasn't
2 they
okay,
tried
it
to
was
make
good.
a mainstream game and they succeeded a bit, but they went back to just the system punishing monster in Crisis 3.
I don't think they'll do it, but I actually think potentially what would be id's best move for a Doom remake and something they could actually get out after having scrapped the original project is like let's try and make it a technical marvel in the ways that we can. Let's make it
Yeah.
look amazing, but let's make it harken back to the original, like Doom and Doom 2, where it is more fast paced, but like the reason people like it is
Mhm.
that like the shotgun sound and visual and all of that look amazing, and like when you kill a demon with one of the weapons, like you remember that kill instead of it being like Doom 3, sort of do more of a retro style game that really does pull people in because of why they liked Doom originally.
Right. So we'll see where that leads. Hopefully, I hope you're right about there being Doom at QuakeCon. I hope you're right.
I don't see what else they have. Like they
Yeah.
always put out at least for the past several years, they've always put out a like a Bethesda game or something as the game they show. And before it was, I think, ESO, Wolfenstein,
Rage.
Rage, Skyrim. Like basically every game that they put out of ZeniMax
Yeah.
goes through QuakeCon as sort of the alpha showing or whatever. So I don't see what else they have this year unless it's Doom.
There you go. Next here, in a real survival horror type game, Daylight, the Zombie Studios game, shout outs to Gerritzen, is integrating a Twitch chat feature where people in chat can type in stuff and scare the person playing. This is pretty cool. Is it on PC as well, though?
I don't know if it's been confirmed as PS3 only.
Because
Or
Jared
PS4,
said something
PS4,
about it being
excuse me, not
PS4
PS3.
only
Yeah,
on
that's-
Twitter, but
I didn't look into it after he said something like that.
The Polygon article says PC as well.
yeah,
Mhm.
I know. Maybe we'll get confirmation from Jared at some point here.
If only we had a connection there.
Yeah, if only we could. Yeah,
If only somebody knew him.
if only he had a viewer question today. But that's pretty cool, and I hope more games do it. Daylight is the perfect avenue for that, and I can't wait to have people fuck with Scott when he plays that. It should be pretty awesome. So that is
Especially
the
like
thing.
after Twitch plays Pokemon and stuff, and then
Yeah.
Daylight doing like I think people building sort of Twitch chat triggers and stuff
Yeah.
in a game
Yeah.
could be really interesting.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Nice
Finally
bandwagon hopping, Gerritzen.
Hey, they're the only one doing this right now. Got to give them a little bit of props. Pretty cool. Up next, in the weird, wacky world of harmonics, Chroma is a thing that exists. It is a music rhythm-based FPS. You can sign up for closed alpha right now. This game looks batshit crazy. It's being made by the dudes from Harmonix, of course, and then Turtle Rock. I believe Turtle Rock. The people behind CSGO. So it's got shooter
that's
chops behind it.
That
And-
actually has me more excited that an actual FPS development team, is helping with that.
Yeah,
Because
and
that's what I was kind of worried about, is that, Harmonix
It's Hidden
has only
Path,
done music
not Turtle.
games. They've
Sorry.
done Rock Band and they've done Dance Central
Yeah.
and some other things. So I mean, they don't really have much experience with anything else.
Yeah,
So,
it's Hidden Path Studios. My bad.
Hidden Path.
Total Rock was the Left 4 Dead bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hidden Path, who did CS:GO. So
Mm-hmm.
they have shooter chops. They got music game chops. What there is it's basically like.
I'm actually in the closed
So-
alpha. I've played a little bit of it.
Well, then maybe you can explain it better than I can, because I've only heard about it.
I've got to, it's under NDA, so I'm like trying to explain things.
Well, you can
that
explain
have already
gameplay.
been
Like
explained.
there's
So,
stuff
yeah,
out
yeah,
there
yeah.
already.
So
Yeah.
it's a class-based shooter, and they all have weapons, and they're all based on staying on beat. So there's always a music track playing during the game. It's constant in the background, and your weapons all have their own music track that plays along with that beat as like an overlay. It is definitely alpha. The music is nowhere near finished from what I've played. Nowhere near. Like it's kind of bad, honestly. But it's basically what can I compare it to? It kind of feels like Nexus to me. That's like the only arena shooter that kind of has the movement that I'm thinking of.
Well, that's
like,
good actually, because
with jump pads and whatnot. There are
if
jump
Nexus
pads in
did
the
one
game.
thing right, it was movement.
Yeah, there are jump pads in the game that are all based on jumping on them on beat in order to keep going across jump pads. Then your weapons can specifically work on beat as well, like having to shoot a shotgun on every beat in order for it to actually fire. Putting up fortifications like building a sentry, having to do that on beat to build it and then upgrade it. Things like that. I've only gone through the tutorial to try to learn how the weapons work. They have integrated Guitar Hero Rock Band type stuff that they've done, with a music track for certain things. It definitely looks very unfinished, and the closed alpha is definitely the right name for that, because it's probably one of the most alpha things that I've played. I haven't gotten into a multiplayer game yet to try it out, but maybe I will. It's just, it's hard to talk about it without breaking NDA, because it's reserved only to discussing what you've played on the forums.
Yeah.
So and those are private. So I'm trying not to get in trouble.
What Giant Bomb said on the Bombcast, they were just talking about it, but they know the dudes from Harmonix, so I suppose there's that. What they said basically, if you hit notes at the right time, you will reload faster with some weapons. You will.
You have to reload on beat as well.
Yeah, rockets will stay on target or switch targets better, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it. I'd like to get into the beta at some point. I don't really care to get into it this early, but looks pretty cool.
It's very early, no options or anything like that. It's just got its locked thing in it, and you play it. I don't even know how the servers are doing. I need to get in there and play a game or two and just see how it runs. I've only done the tutorial to test out the guns, but it seems very hard to stay on beat. Like that's a different thing, to have to not just shoot my gun when I want to, but having to do it to a music track is hard to get used to. But I'm sure it'll be fun. Harmonix is not one for making a bad game, so I don't think they've made one that hasn't been critically acclaimed. So I'm sure that it's going to be at least decent. I would hope so, especially if they've got the guys that did CS:GO behind it. Then you've got nothing to worry about.
So, on to our last story. Cliff Bleszinski, Cliffy B, left Epic Games a couple years ago now, but he said that he's no longer going to make the huge, big-budget AAA games. He's looking to make games on PC exclusively now, and he says, the quotes are pretty great, actually. PC is where I'm going to wind up. That's where the community is. The trend will always be the core. If I start a studio, I want a community manager there day one. I want weekly video or podcast. I want task lists available on the subreddit. Your game is as good as how many YouTube videos it can yield. And he's super into Rust right now, he says, and he loves that sort of open development that's going on. And he loves games where the developer can put it out and then people can write their own stories, which happens, as we talked about with DayZ. Get the game out there and build it. Some kid will put out a video. Players will teach each other. You don't need the press A to jump. So There was actually a more full-fledged interview out there that I read about this, but good on Cliffy B as long as he makes another Unreal Tournament.
Please.
That's all we really want. But no, good luck to him. I mean, he made one of the best, big, huge part of one of the best game engines of all time, and one of the best game series of all time. So
Yeah.
like,
I still, stand by that Gears of War 3 is a fucking masterpiece of a game, and at least in terms of multiplayer. Of course, their stories are never, that great. They're just dude bro stories, but the game was Epic's magnum opus, and I'm glad that he left on that note.
yeah,
And,
on the highest of notes,
yeah.
really.
Seems like a lot of big guys, now Ken Levine and Cliffy B are trying to wind down and stop doing AAA shit. I guess they're just getting too old for it. It's kind of annoying. I don't know. Maybe it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it. These smaller games that are more community focused. It's always nice.
It's because these guys are actual like game creators, like people, artists to an extent, and AAA
Right.
fucking blows.
Yeah.
There's nothing interesting about AAA. It's like the most stock standard you can be right now. It's
And
like
I've got
not to sound like a
playtime-
hipster, but there's so
most of my
little
playtime
AAA
goes
that
into
interests
games that
anybody.
aren't AAA. So
Yeah.
Please your shareholders with your game releases.
I mean,
Exactly. Like that's how can you put somebody who creates games not how can you put somebody in that position to pleasing shareholders like that? It sounds horrible to me.
yep, and it's like we saw with Tomb Raider last year, which sold 6 million copies and then was deemed a failure by Square Enix. So
wasn't
There's
Sleeping
that.
Dogs also deemed a failure?
Yes.
And it sold like
3.5 million, I think, or
3.5.
something.
Such a fucking good game.
And
too.
they-
Like,
and they
that
got
is
that-
not a
Game.
failure.
they got that property for nothing. For those that don't
Yeah.
know the background of that game, it was like half done by somebody else, and they transformed it into this totally new thing, Sleeping Dogs, which was awesome. And
Yeah, it was
like,
supposed to be a true crime game.
yeah,
Yep.
and it turned out to be great, and then it was deemed a failure. So now we don't. Now we don't. That's like the state of
Square Enix.
AAA at this point. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it really sucks. And it's good to see people like Cliffy B, who have been on both sides of that, wanting to just stick to it this way. As a developer, that's got to be so much more freeing, too. You're just like,
Yeah.
here, put the game out, let the community build it. Just like we always say on this podcast, if you allow modding on your game, it's going to live forever. So
If you are active with your community and you allow modding, like just be involved. Don't be quiet.
yep, exactly.
It's always better when you let people do shit with your game and then you give them props for it. Like say even Payday like has a section on the game menu where they point out community shit. Like that.
Yeah.
That's something that's so simple, but it helps so much.
So
I agree.
new releases this week. Tuesday, Park the Stick of Truth.
I saw some of that game. It
fucking
looks
stoked.
really good. It looks
I'm so
it looks
stoked
fucking
for
good.
it. I love
Um,
RPGs like that. It's kind of in the spirit of like
It was-
Mario and Luigi.
It was
Like
made by
Mario kind of
Obsidian too, and they know how to make RPGs
Yep.
quite well. Also on Tuesday, Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2 comes out, aka Badass Bitch Clem Simulator. She doesn't give a fuck anymore. Seriously, that is what that game has become. It's just Clem being 11 and not giving a shit about anything.
When you reach that age.
Yeah, I guess. And then Thursday, this is actually kind of cool because I've heard a lot of good things about this game. Year Walk, which was an iOS game, comes to PC. I think it's like $6.99 on Steam, but it's supposed to be sort of a really disconcerting sort of experience game.
It is $5.99.
$5.99. So there you go. That comes out Thursday. I'm actually pretty pumped. I think I'll pick it up. I have no iOS devices, so I'm always pumped when some of these games make it over. There's some really good games on iOS, and then they're stuck there. But that's where you can make money with mobile, so I don't
Yeah.
blame the devs. So you might want to check that out, especially for $5.99. So we're going to take a quick 60-second commercial break, guys, and then be back with the viewer questions.
Hooray.
Away!
Yeah, but seriously, Giant Bomb Podcast has popped up like 3 times.
It had
You
to with
really
Chroma.
need-
That was the only source. That's the
Wow.
only source for that game.
Maybe you should listen to the Bombcast.
I'm not saying that I have a problem with the Bombcast. I'm just saying it kind of, I feel like it reflects poorly on us if we have to constantly talk about somebody else's podcast and how great they are. You
No,
know?
we're not. It's not somebody else's podcast. It's the Bombcast.
Wait, did The Room come out elsewhere, K9? Is that even on Android? The Room is supposed to be fucking amazing. I think it is on Android. I don't think it's on PC.
The
though.
Room from Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
No, not that The
Now
Room.
an iOS game.
I wish.
No, that game's supposed to be awesome.
There's a game coming out called Vertiginous Golf, and it looks really interesting.
Yeah, I saw that in new releases, but I didn't put it in there.
A steampunk golf game with like floating island maps.
Well, now I'm interested.
Yeah,
Now
it
that you
looks pretty
said
neat.
this. Fucking Rambo. Recently played games. Rambo the video game. 175 new screenshots this week. Let us view these.
I loved that for the longest time it had kawaii as one of the top tags on the game. And right now it's point and click is the top tag on that game.
Point and click.
There's a dude. There's a real comment. Good game. Looking forward to Terminator. I hope the Terminator game is made just like this. I don't like COD at all, and simple rail shooters are fun. I can't.
Thief is number 3 on the kawaii tag. Rambo's not there anymore. I'm disappointed.
Oh god, this screenshot of him when he's getting beat up by the cops. I cannot.
Yeah, I need to go look at this now.
Oh my god. Let me see if I can copy this link. There it is. There it is, boys. There's your Rambo.
Just so
Oh
Come
Why is his
Those
head
graphics.
like 50% too big for his body?
Because that's how you make a dude, right?
When you go to the
Huge head.
screenshots tab and you scroll down and there's just a zoomed in one of his face. Oh god, it's too much.
There's some great screenshots.
There probably are. Look at that shit. That came out in 2014.
Oh god.
Fucking
one
Titanfall
of these-
exists, but so does this game. I don't
These
understand.
screenshots has something called a Zen reload combo 160x. Sounds good.
I just linked it in chat stream. Sorry. It's just too good. Fucking Rambo. Get off me, cops. I didn't want this war. It's pretty much the whole game.
Was it a memorable experience for you though, Dan?
Yes.
Then they did their job.
I guess they
their
did.
job.
They did.
Oh,
Ice skating simulator.
I didn't do anything. That's the
I
best
think
part.
this picture might be my favorite.
All right, let me link it to chat as well. So, come on, here we go.
Just the faces.
Oh god.
Oh man, that's a
The one in the back. The one in the back. Who
the
has
one in the
almost
back.
No
of the-
texture.
yes.
No texture on his face.
Oh my
Jesus.
god.
So that's another thing about that game. It begins with Rambo's funeral,
Yeah.
and they tell the whole game at his funeral.
Oh god.
It's,
And they-
it's
and the-
good that he's dead.
Yeah, it's good that he's dead. I'm like, what the fuck? This isn't appropriate. What the fuck's happening? Also,
We're basically
Rambo.
gonna sit around at this guy's funeral and talk about what a dick he was.
Yeah, like basically.
The
It's
number
a
of
mini
polygons
monster.
on these faces.
It's ridiculous. God damn. I didn't do anything. Leave me alone. All right. Viewer questions. Gerritzen asks, what's up with not having me on in over a year? Dan's really that mad at me, mad about me asking if he was a lost child at PAX. No, Jared, you've been up the PS4's ass for a year. I didn't know what to say to you. Maybe if you made another
Sorry,
PC
mate.
games, but
Ooh.
But you are actually in April.
Shots fired.
April 25th.
I can speak for Dan, saying you're asking if he was mad about you asking if he was a lost child. As Dan's legal guardian, I thank you for that because he does get lost sometimes, and it's nice to have good Samaritans looking out for young children.
No, I'm sure we'll have Gerritzen back on. Daylight's a coming quickly here. April. Unreal 4. First release of Unreal 4. So
You gotta have him on when you can actually talk about it more.
yeah, exactly. Like, what were you gonna do? Talk about BLR and PS4, and we would have been like, I don't even know what this is. What is this console you speak of? We'll have you on again, Jared. Come on, man. Come on. But thank you for finding me. On the other hand,
I like how he also has to ask, like he couldn't just be like, "Hey, can I come on your podcast?"
yeah. Dave Osher emailed. The reason Dave Osher was on a second time was he was like, "Hey, can I come back on your podcast?" It's like, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
like
Dave,
sounds like
I
a
want
Garrett's-
this.
sounds like a Garrett's problem.
I think he just realizes what a big deal our podcast is with 300 people in here right now.
Yeah, I think he knows. This next question touches close to home on many current events. Flanlord asks, if we do go to nuclear war with Russia and the apocalypse happens, what is your number one most anticipated March release title?
Famine
South Park.
Simulator 2014.
Famine Simulator.
It probably would be a sim game because I'm gonna need to learn. I'm gonna need to learn some like farming techniques.
Remember when life didn't suck simulator, and it's just a whole sim of how life used to be. It's like, dude, I have a car, I have 2 arms. That was
All
the
you do
life.
is just play a game where you sit at a computer all day. Just remember what life was like beforehand when everything was simple and all you did was browse Reddit and look at memes.
Yeah.
Don't you just remember Doge? Don't you remember it?
What is your most anticipated March launch title? Though? We got Titanfall, we got South Park, we got Dark Souls 2,
Dark Souls 2.
we got Diablo 3.
For me, it would have to be Diablo 3, but I am looking forward to Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all 3. I'm gonna end up buying all 3 too.
I mean, for me,
well, I'm not gonna buy. Actually, no, I'm not gonna buy Titanfall. What am I saying?
I'm probably going to say Dark Souls 2, but man, I don't want to get it on PS3, but I'm probably going to end up having to. Like, I'm going to end up having to. Game's too good to avoid. I've never had this problem before. Every game I like comes out on PC most of the time. So, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, probably Diablo 3 right after that. I am interested in South Park, but not at $60.
Yeah, me either. I don't want to spend 60 on it. Maybe I can like convince Ubisoft to give me a press copy, but I don't want to spend $60 on it.
That's a game that you can tell. I mean, obviously they were going to sell it for 60. There's no way they were going to let that IP go without spending 60, but without paying 60. But it's going to go on sale very quickly. I guarantee it.
I'm sure.
Same thing happened to the Deadpool game. It was out for like a month before it went on sale for like 50% off or something.
Yeah, I just if nothing else, that game will be hilarious to play through. I'm pretty sure
That's what I'm
South
looking
Park
forward to,
writers
like-
were involved. So
Yeah, if it has
Oh,
good
yeah.
mechanics, that's nice. But I'm most interested in the story and throwing farts at people because that's incredible. My number one spell is farting in my hand and throwing it at them. Okay, I'll do that.
and the RPG stuff is going to be good. I'm telling you, Obsidian, that is an RPG company. Like that is what they do. So, but moving on, Daniel W. sent us this email. Recently, I witnessed the horrific event we have all come to know as Achy Breaky 2. Like many others, I have had feelings of hopelessness and find myself screaming in the middle of the night, trying to recount the events that would lead someone to commit such a travesty. I want to know if the KBMOD Bros might have or know of a support group for us Achy Breaky 2 survivors.
What is Achy Breaky 2?
I have avoided clicking on this video.
So Achy Breaky 2 is a song that
The song sequel to
honestly-
Achy Breaky Heart.
Yes.
yeah, it's so it's by a guy who does country hip hop music, I guess, but then it's it's Billy Ray Cyrus and this guy doing Achy Breaky 2. It's a rap, and then the chorus is like saying Achy Breaky Heart or whatever. It's fucking terrible, but I almost wonder if it's some meta thing that Billy Ray Cyrus did to make fun of his daughter or something. It's so
Oh,
bad
God.
that it can't be anything else. Like the fucking video starts out with Larry King. Larry King somehow got hired for this video, and he's
Why?
doing some news report where a UFO has come down and taken Billy Ray Cyrus and this rapper into space with a bunch of twerking models, and now they're on
God
a
damn it.
UFO doing a concert. That's the entire video. It makes absolutely no sense.
God damn it.
It sounds like the kind of thing that when you hire a marketing firm and you ask them to help you go viral, that's what they would come up with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Larry King at the beginning.
I just
I just want to know
All
how
right,
that
first thing
happened.
you're gonna want to do is get Larry King.
Yeah.
Just god damn it.
but
There
that
is
I
no
don't think
thing.
that- I don't think there's any help for you, Daniel.
No,
Yeah, I think-
no, it's probably the worst affliction that you could even fucking comprehend on this planet.
I'm
is
not.
watching
I'm
that.
not, to
Thinking?
be clear, I'm not even going to give you the courtesy of like investigating what this even is. I'm just going to assume that you're lucky to be alive.
Maybe not. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it. Based on what Mark just described, I wouldn't call it lucky.
no.
Oh, apparently, correction, he doesn't take the rapper to space. He takes a child who ages quickly into the rapper.
Oh, that's
This
what
is-
happened. Yeah, yeah,
So there you
Yeah.
go.
yeah.
Um,
And the artist's name is
why?
Buck22. If you know that interests you.
That's cool.
Doesn't. Thank you.
Yeah, you're fucked, basically, Sir Dix-a-Lot. There's no help at this point. This kind of thing gets on the internet now. This is how it is. At Jopo Man asking us, I wish your name was Jopo Man, then I could really like get
So
behind
close.
your name. Yeah. How do you go about choosing what video card brand, AMD or NVIDIA, and also between like EVGA, MSI, PNY?
Let's.
For NVIDIA, you just go MSI, or you just go EVGA unless there's an MSI Power Edition, and then you have to
Yeah.
consider that.
Yeah, I think, and Brandon's had direct experience with this, but EVGA has super good customer service and warranties. So we always, if we can, we use EVGA in our build guides always when we use NVIDIA cards because their warranties and things are so good. And it's not to
When it-
say, go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say when it comes to choosing brand, it depends on what you want to do. Like
Right.
I'm always going to go NVIDIA because I video edit, and NVIDIA cards are better for video editing than
Yep.
AMD. I mean, so that's what I'm gonna go with. If you're like strictly gaming, an
Mm-hmm.
AMD card is not a bad idea. It's really down to where your price point is,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
the
reliability
Dogecoin.
of the manufacturer of the card.
The-
That's it.
a couple big discrepancies now between AMD and NVIDIA. AMD has the low end on lock, pretty much. If you don't have a big budget, you're probably going to get an AMD card.
Yeah.
They just have really good bang for the buck at lower price points. Also, if you're into the old cryptocurrency, into that Dogecoin, into that Bitcoin, as I am, then you definitely want NVIDIA. AMD, I mean. God, I just sent a bunch of people the wrong way.
Dumb.
Yeah.
If
You want
the
AMD for
recording
that.
cut out right then. There's
Yeah,
And now,
you're
now
fucked.
the prices
Yeah.
of NVIDIA have skyrocketed. Just ruined the market.
No, but yeah, you want AMD for crypto coin mining. Also, if you use Sony Vegas to edit, AMD is just fine there as well. If you use Premiere, though, as Mark was saying, you definitely want NVIDIA. You want them CUDA cores.
The CUDA cores, yeah.
It helps immensely. As far as AMD brand choice, there is no EVGA of the AMD side, really. All the warranties are kind of the same for AMD cards.
XFX used to be the best. I don't know how they are now.
Yeah.
I've typically gone with Sapphire.
Yeah,
it's my
I-
preferred brand.
I use Sapphire, but I have also never had a problem with them, so that's a positive. But I've never had to experience their customer service or RMA because I've never had anything
Yeah,
go
most
bad.
of most of the brands we recommend are kind of just based off of our long history of experience with video cards.
Mhm.
And like with EVGA, that's the main reason we always recommend them, just because their cards are typically the best and their customer service is the best.
Yeah.
But if there isn't a good if you're going AMD or something, for instance, like we don't really have a super strong recommendation on brand there. I typically go to Newegg, I go to Amazon, and I look at the specific cards and the reviews on the cards.
Yeah.
And especially on Newegg, some companies will have support reps that will reply to negative comments when people have a bad experience. So sometimes I'll look at things like that, where basically try and get an idea of, if I have to have support for this card, if something doesn't work, how easy is it going to be to take care of this problem?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the good brands are usually like, it's, EVGA, MSI, Sapphire, like all of those are typically reputable enough that you should
Asus makes
Asus is good.
On the AMD, the problem with AMD right now at this very moment, because of cryptocurrency, is that if you want a real good AMD card, they're off the charts expensive right now, like double MSRP. And you can't find them. You just can't buy them anywhere. 280Xs, 290s, 290Xs, you can't get them anywhere. Yep. And there's the new Sapphire Vapor X 290X coming out, and I really want it really badly, but it's going to be like $1,000. So there's no real chance of that happening. This next question is right to the point from Rockopotamus, the KBMOD Dive Kick 2013 champion. Rockopotamus, by the way.
Fraud.
Fraud detected. He was looking up frame data at fucking LAN. What a fucking nerd. If you hadn't gotten involved with KBMOD, how do you think you would have contracted AIDS instead? Damn, dude.
All of these terrible video games that I've been playing the past.
You've kind of painted me into a corner on that one.
Every simulator game that you download is packed with AIDS. So
yeah.
I think we have all contracted it.
I'm going to go with probably a homeless man at some point, but Rambo
the man that touched you after you passed out and pooped your pants in a train station.
Yes. Yeah, that's the most likely situation. Followed in a close second by Rambo the video game, which would have definitely...
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to stop talking about it.
I didn't ask for these AIDS!
Didn't ask for AIDS!
It's clear that it was worth your $40 if you're this excited about it. Can't stop talking about it.
I'd like to thank the KBMOD subs for financing Rambo the video game. We all had a great experience together. We were on front page with that game. It was clearly a good representation of the channel.
Good Lord.
Alrighty. Well, moving on to the last question. From SLFan68. This one's directed directly to Brandon. Does Brandon actually do anything at Twitch, or does he just show up and play Hearthstone all day?
He strategizes Hearthstone for me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, is the
Jobs.
answer. Yes. He also participates.
Various things, but most of the time he's telling me how to play Hearthstone.
That's pretty valuable.
Under the assumption that I actually am interested in playing the game and not just purchasing cards.
Well, I mean, let's be clear. I don't show up and play Hearthstone all day. I mean, I discuss Hearthstone with others sometimes. Sometimes I coach others. Sometimes, it's not just playing all day. All right, it may all be Hearthstone related, but it's not just always playing.
And then when the Crypt stream, his eye automatically goes to the stream.
Yeah, that assumes Crypt's not streaming.
Well, I've already been photoshopped into Rambo. God damn it.
By me. I'm sitting here doing this for the past, like 5 minutes.
You look
is
so
an
happy to be
incredible
kicking that
Photoshop.
guy in the balls. It's great.
He's
Leave
saying,
me alone!
I did ask for this. I'm happy to be here.
I kinda did ask for this. Whoops.
I'm gonna kick you in the nuts anyway.
God damn it. Oh, maybe we'll finish Rambo this week. But you're pushing me. Don't push me. Don't push me. I'll finish that fucking game.
I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
God
That's what
damn.
I did instead of participate in conversation.
All right. Well, that is it for this edition of the KBMOD podcast. Make sure you follow all of us on Twitter. All our Twitters are on the screen. You can follow KBMOD at KBMOD Gaming. Also, follow this channel on Twitch. We're live every day of the week. And this week is, of course, Simulator Week. So you don't want to miss any of that hard hitting.
Maybe you really want to.
Maybe you kind of do. I don't. Yeah.
You might want to.
It's one of those things where you'll think you don't want to watch, and then you'll get the live notification, and you'll be like, "Ah, I should watch that."
Brandon, how hype?
YouTube and Twitch is the only reason that these fucking simulator games still exist. We are funding these people's development cycles. Like it's all because of us. They're gonna keep coming out.
You funded Airport Simulator.
Brandon, how hype was it when that truck jackknifed through itself and no clipped? Come on, dude.
I stood up out of my chair.
They didn't have the budget for no clip.
When I saw that, because I really thought it was going to be like, if there's any aspect of the simulation you should get right, it's like just, the simple driving stuff where you can't accelerate very quickly. Like it's kind of monotonous to drive around like a little gas tanker on an airfield. But nope, you just clipped right through it, and I was done.
All right, guys. Well, we'll be live tomorrow, of course. Blah will be live directly after the stream on his channel.
For a bit.
As he goes.
March continues.
Blarch marches on.
Larches happen.
So we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for coming out.
Later.